People that had evil parents. What happened? I have two sisters. One older, and one younger. My mom worked hard to make sure each of us felt special and loved. My dad? Not so much. He called my older sister Princess and my little sister was referred to as Little Buddy. For whatever reason, I got kind of forgotten about. I didn't mind most of the time. I found my dad annoying, demanding, and at times unreasonable. I hated the way he bullied my mom and would lash out about things that didn't make sense. Basically, I thought of my dad as a total brat. He'd have a bad day at work, and would find someone to take it out on. I'd try to cuddle up with him, feeling hurt when he'd shrug me off and tell me I need to shower. I made gifts for him. Got good grades, won poetry contests. Never argued. But it never seemed to work. Before long, he'd find something to yell at me about. Things that usually didn't make sense. If my little sister and I fought, the whole thing was my fault. My feet turn in. I hated when my dad would come to my sporting events, because seeing me run with inturned feet seemed to be humiliating for him. One time I was running from one base to another, feeling exhilaration because I'd done it. I'd hit a home run. The smile died on my face when I heard my dad yell, "Run with your feet straight. You look stupid." He was never physically abusive, but the way he talked to you made you feel like he was trying to say something that would break you. As a teen, my mom really stepped up and started insisting that he was going to leave me alone. When I was 15, he was almost successful. I went through a couple of really bad months. A friend died, my dog died, we moved, and my mental health was tanking. A week after my friend died, car accident, my dad asked, "So when are you going to get over it?" It took me by surprise, because at that time, I wasn't crying or acting out. I was just sitting there, eating dinner with the family. My mom immediately reacted, gasping out a surprised, "John." And the two of them began fighting again, over my dad's need to mess with me. I sat there, head down on the table, thinking, I'm not allowed to be sad. I'm not allowed to feel happy. I can't get mad. I'm in pain, and he finds it annoying. Just leave me alone, Dad. That's when it clicked. My dad, for whatever reason, seemed to hate me. I could try to make him like me, but it wasn't going to work. As I got older, my goal became to avoid him. His seemed to be to forge a relationship with me with the sole purpose of having a target for his need to bully. We were never going to have a healthy father-daughter relationship. That's when it clicked. It's not me, it's him. My sisters could like and love him, but I didn't need to respect him. I was done trying to please him, trying to do the right things, trying to be the daughter that my dad seemed to want. Fast forward almost 10 years later. After the birth of my son, my dad had tried to begin a new relationship with me, because for whatever reason, he latched onto my kid. For the sake of my kid, I let my dad have a relationship with him, but I was always monitoring, waiting for my son to develop a personality that would change the way my dad saw him. There was no way I was going to let my dad do to my son what he did to me. Fortunately, my dad died before the change could happen. I sat in the back at his funeral, dry-eyed and satisfied. Of course my sisters were upset. They had good relationships. But for me and my mom, it kind of felt like the wicked witch was at long last dead. No more stress. The eggshells we'd been walking on were swept away, and we could be content. I have an uncle in West Virginia that I started to see as my father figure. At first, I jokingly would call him Dad, testing the waters. I go see him once a year. But I always felt like maybe, he sees my need to see him as a dad to be annoying. A couple of weeks ago, I asked him if he was coming up for Christmas. He said he couldn't. But then he said, "I love you, my daughter."